to episode. Let me close the door.
Is this 4?
Yes, this is episode 4 of Talking SWBZ. I'm, as always, Nick, also known as Spuddles, joined by Will.
I'm also Santori Slash.
Alex.
And I'm the Bird of Hermes.
And then our man on the conference call is our buddy Ben, who is on the far side of the screen.
Income and jump on 19.
Yep. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about games of our childhood. Let me get my phone because it has my notes. So we're really just talking about like games that were really our favorites, the ones that kind of got us into games.
Basically influential in our lives.
Right. Some that might have actually like changed the way we thought or did stuff on life, you know. But Will actually thought of this idea, the topic. Was there any reason that you wanted to talk about it? Or?
No, I mean, I was just thinking because we were going through ideas about whether or not we should all talk about a game that we all had similar, that we had all played through.
Right.
And so it just popped in my head, well, you know, we're still new at this whole podcast thing, so follow us if you want to help us grow and keep it going.
We have various social media of Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
Yep. So I just thought,
follow our Twitter.
Yes. Oh, we also have Instagram, right, Ben?
Yes, we do. It's been a little inactive, but
It's all good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we are consistently getting better at posting.
Yes.
Thank you.
But it's one of those things where, you know, because we're still new and y'all don't know us very well, I thought it might be a good idea to just get to know some of us with what started us on this journey to
Know
that,
where we came from.
Yeah, that in this week is a little bit different because some of us weren't able to show up. So we're like a smaller group, but at the same time, we weren't one-on-one. So like, if it was me and Will, we would just do like One Piece or maybe Assassin's Creed or something like that. And if it was like me and Alex, we'd probably be doing like me and Ben, we'd probably be doing like Legend of Zelda or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? But since we all kind of don't really all together have like a maybe in common game, maybe one or two that we're not quite thinking of.
Yeah.
At least not a big one for us that we can really talk
Not
about.
like a series.
Yeah, not like a series. Because like series, you know, it's special because then that means you have all sorts of lore. It means that, you know, the characters actually progress a good bit and all sorts of stuff. So, Will, since you thought of the topic, to start off, we all thought of about 10 games from our childhood.
Yeah.
We didn't tell either of us what our games are yet. So if we have overlapping games, then that's just all the more special, since we're all around the same age group anyways.
We're all learning here.
So I think one of the first games that I ever played, and this got me really into the whole thing. I started off on Nintendo 64, so a lot of those old Nintendo games are really just a big part of my childhood.
Right.
The biggest one I can think of was Super Mario 64. That was the first true Mario game that I actually played, and it's not really not a side scroller, which is weird, but that was one of the first ones that I can remember that I actually started playing all the way through.
Mario 64 also made my list as well. Alex, did that make yours?
It did not.
Ben, did you have Mario 64?
But I did really like the game, though.
I did have Mario 64 for a little bit, but then I decided, it was, but it's never a game that I got incredibly far in, so I didn't really put it on my list. I wanted to keep games that were like that I played so much and I played most.
Gotcha. So I think a big thing for me playing Mario 64 was that there were so many levels that I liked, and I always like doing the. I like the Bowser levels a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like doing like the loops and all sorts
when you get
of
to
stuff.
swing Bowser around by his tail and throw him in lava.
When you're a little kid, you're like, what? I beat Bowser. Which I think that's actually like my first Mario game because I played that before I played like Super Mario Brothers 3 or the original Super Mario Brothers. But I think that was my first Mario game around the same time as another one that was on my list, which was Mario Kart.
Yeah, that's also on the list too.
From Mario Kart 64.
Yeah.
which I remember playing that game with my CD. I was playing that, and then next to the N64, I had my CD player, and I was playing Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory on repeat all day, while like crushing through it. You know, just making sure I got all the. I don't think there was any unlockable characters or cards back then.
Mm-hmm. It was literally just a fun game to play. I played it with my father. Every time I played it, and he kept on getting mad at me because I got good enough that I would knock him like. Especially like Toads. He used to play, yeah. As much as he hates games, he played that with me when I was younger, and I got good enough to where like I would hold off and hold a red shell or a blue shell. And he was beating me, and I'd just wait until he was right at the finish line, and I'd pass him at the very end. Or, like in Toadstool Turnpike.
Yeah.
I knocked him over a wall.
Which was just a figure
glitch.
8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's just being strategic.
Yeah, but he keeps on saying I cheated, but I didn't. It was just how to play the game. But yeah, so that's how I remember that one.
For me, Mario 64, it was such a really good game, and it was really dear to my heart. I did really like, because I had played a lot of 2D Mario games before that. I really liked how they switched it up and went like full like 3D. I know it threw a lot of people off at one point, or like just like to the point where they had to give you like that little sandbox area at the beginning just to play around with and to master all the controls. It's crazy looking back now how you had to like master a 3D game now where you can just pick up a controller and be used to that. But yeah, I just like the direction it went, and I like all the levels, like you said.
What else? Let's see here. We mentioned Mario 64. We mentioned Mario Kart. Were those all your Mario games?
No.
Oh wait, Ben, did you also play Mario Kart? Did that make your list?
It didn't make my list because there were other games that I was like more influential. But one that did make my list was 64.
Was what?
64.
Mario 64.
Oh, so Mario 64 did make your list.
Right.
No. Super Smash Bros.
Oh, Super Smash
Bros.
Okay.
The original one, not Melee.
Yeah, that one also made my list.
Was it Melee or was it the original?
No, that's the
It's
original.
64.
Yeah, because Melee was on.
It was just Super
GameCube.
Smash.
Yes.
That's right. Smash did not make my list. I debated on putting it on, but I don't think as a kid I played enough of it. Because I don't know if we actually had that. Because I always remember playing it, but I think it was always whenever I went over to a friend's house type thing. So we never really owned it. Other games that were from the 64 that didn't make the list was like Diddy Kong Racing, Donkey Kong Country, and all that other stuff. That didn't make my list, but I still appreciated those games. Diddy Kong Racing was actually a lot of fun. It was like it was similar to Mario 64 or Mario Kart 64, but the difference was that you like end up swapping to planes and boats and all sorts of other stuff, and like in order to get to each area, you're actually driving around in like an open world before you actually do races, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, see, I never got to play Diddy Kong Racing.
No?
Never got to.
I got it.
I only played it when I went over to my friend's house.
I can't believe I hadn't seen it before, but I guess I just never had any friends playing it when I was growing up.
Did anybody else have any other 64 games?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, what you got?
I had Yoshi Story.
Oh,
Yoshi Story was a good game.
I was not really too big on the Yoshis personally. My sister-in-law is obsessed with Yoshi. Not obsessed, but she that's one of her favorite characters. She enjoys Yoshi a lot. Ben, what was the reason that you liked Yoshi's Story?
I liked playing Yoshi's Story a lot because there was the aspect where you unlocked Yoshis as you went through it, and then there was the secret Yoshis that if you only played like certain levels a certain way, you would unlock.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like the unlockable stuff, which I think that's like a big thing for like earlier games was that in order to get more content and stuff like that, you had to unlock stuff.
Oh yeah.
That was for a lot of things, and a lot of stuff was like secret, like legit. You had to figure it out, including like cheat codes and stuff like that, where you needed like Game Sharks, or actually had to put in like the actual code where it is like up, down, left, right, A B stuff. That stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That stuff was cool. I missed that.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason why Melee made my list. One of the reasons.
Yeah.
Is they because I mean, don't get me wrong, Smash Ultimate's a great game, but there's no mystery in getting characters now. It's just play the game for X amount of time, and you'll eventually get all of them.
Right.
But Melee, it was like the talk of the playground, like, oh my god, if someone got Mewtwo, how do I get Mewtwo?
Right.
And everyone was like, there was like 5 different rumors going around how you got Mewtwo, and then people just ended up leaving their consoles on overnight.
Right.
I think it was you have to play 100 hours or
Yeah.
something to get Mewtwo, something like that.
It was something like that, and then on top of that, how you unlocked the majority of the characters was through like the events mode.
Yeah.
I think some of it was. I think you might have gotten somebody from home run contest or something like
Maybe, yeah. And I think for the story mode, you had to play some story modes with specific characters.
Right.
Like you had to play with Marth to get Roy, or something like that.
I like the adventure mode a lot because, like, all right, there was one level that I both liked and both didn't like, and that was the Legend of Zelda map. You know what I'm talking about?
The labyrinth one?
The labyrinth?
Yeah.
Because then you're just like, oh, I don't want to fight these people. I want to get through.
Those stupid re-deads.
Yeah.
Blocking your way.
It was funny when you beat them, though, because then, like, they bounce all over the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also enjoyed the original Smash and Smash Melee. I think I liked Melee a lot more than the original Smash, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the original Smash always just holds a place in my heart, just because this was even before I had the Nintendo 64. I went over. We played it like once a year over at somebody's house.
Right.
And then so as soon as we got the 64. That was the one game that I really, really wanted, especially since my little brother and I got to play, even though I always had to prove that I was better than him at it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So
besides that, it was fun.
Yeah, and that's like the thing about like Nintendo games is that they level the playing field in a way to where even like the younger siblings and stuff like that, it gets all competitive and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
even though my brother was 8 years older than me, I was still able to hold my own against him, whether it be Mario Kart, Mario 64, or whatever. So, or Smash. So, honestly, he beat me most of the time.
Yeah.
But
Even you still felt like it was a fight though, even at the time
Oh,
that
yeah.
you were losing to him.
yeah, because all you need is one or two gimmick items, you know.
Yeah, you just pull out a blue shell at one point.
Yeah, or the hammer.
Oh yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Whenever you're doing Smash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was. I think that was a big thing though. Is that for me was whatever my brother played, I played, and that was majority of the games that I did, and that shared our similar tastes and sense for things. So like whatever he liked, I liked. That goes for music, games, shows, the whole works. I think that falls with you and Zach as well,
Yeah.
probably.
Even though Zach won't admit it, but yeah.
Yeah. Ben, was your brother influential that way with like video games and music and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. That's probably why Super Smash Bros. Holds such a high place in my heart. It's because I have those memories of just playing Smash Bros. With my brother all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Any other 64 games?
Yeah, I got one more, but
No, but I have a Dreamcast game.
Oh.
All right, let's finish up with 64 first.
Okay.
so
And then we'll hit
the last one I
Dreamcast.
have for 64 is actually Star Fox 64.
Oh, I never actually got to play that.
So that one was a really fun game. The only problem was that I didn't really have a way to keep or store the memory on Nintendo 64.
Oh no.
So I beat the game multiple times, but you had to play it all the way through, or else
In the one sitting.
in the one sitting, or else you wouldn't make it through. But yeah, that game was actually originally on a game system that was before the Nintendo 64, but they revamped it and made it Star Fox 64 with a couple of new levels and here and there. But you didn't actually have to play all the levels to beat it. So you just went straight through. It would take you to certain planets in the system, and then you'd have to go and fly your R-Wing or go in a tank or whatever. And I don't know. I've always been a Star Fox fan, and that's what got me
it's
into
cool
it.
because there's like you're flying stuff as well,
Yeah.
and you're shooting, and in a way, it's like a little jet simulator
Oh, yeah.
for back then. And like on top of that, you also got tanks and stuff.
And you also get to make fun of Peppy and Slippy,
Yeah.
where Peppy's just like, do a barrel roll, and you're just like, shut the hell up! I'm so sick and tired of this.
Do a barrel roll.
I know what to do. Stop telling me what to do.
Can you say another
And then-
voice line, please?
And then having to say save Slippy multiple times. They're on me, Fox. Try and save me. Shut up. Just do a freaking barrel roll.
You need
No.
a barrel roll, Slippy. Damn it, you're done.
I didn't play the 64 one, but I played the one for the SNES, and I know
Yeah,
I still know that
that's the
feeling.
same one. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get if you get your ship damaged, it will say wing damage over and over and over again.
So annoying.
It's like,
They
oh
They
my
actually
god,
fixed that in the
shut
64
up.
though.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say constantly wing damaged or anything like that. It's just
Wing
you hear the boop boop boop.
Oh, no,
and you're
that's
just like,
that's arguably worse.
Mhm. Little sirens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't play any. Well, I did play one Star Fox game. That was the GameCube one.
The
One with the crystal chick.
the Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
That one was a really fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't beaten it. And then Star Fox Assault was a good one
Yeah.
for GameCube. That was arguably the best Star Fox game that I've ever played. That one had a multiplayer first-person shooter mode.
Cool.
Well,
That's weird for like a
That's-
Star Fox.
Yeah, I know.
So my N64 game that made my list, which I think was huge, was Ocarina of Time from Legend of Zelda. That was like super big for me. Like the puzzles, the adventuring, the running around, all the monsters, the fighting, it was great. I enjoyed it like wholeheartedly. My brother played it, I would watch him play it, and then I would play it right after. All the bosses and the places that you can go. I think that was like the big thing for me was that every place had its own unique puzzles and stuff like that. I'm weird. I actually like the water temple puzzle because it was hard and you really had to like think about like water levels and stuff like that. And like as a kid, like who's like 5, it's pretty cool. But I think one of my favorite things to do in it was getting the hook shot and then finding all the secret areas with it, because you had to find all the like the pieces of hearts, that way you have like as much health as possible.
And all the golden Skulltulas
Skulltulas,
yeah.
Yeah, because you need. I think there's like 50 or 100 of them that you need. You needed to collect all the Skulltulas in order to like save the family.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really interesting because in that game there were side quests, and you wouldn't really call them side quests back then.
No, it was.
There's other stuff to do. You know, they weren't. It wasn't officially mandated in a side quest back then.
See, I'm gonna front to Nintendo a little bit because I've never actually played through a Legend of Zelda game. I played maybe like one level out of one game. I don't even remember what game it was. So I definitely need to get on that at some point.
Yes.
You should really give Breath of the Wild a shot.
Breath of the Wild, yeah.
Yes.
I don't like it. I don't.
Yeah, I understand.
What is it about it? Is it just the open worldness, or like not like as linear, or?
It's, for me, it's the puzzles suck, and like that's like the big thing for me in Legend of Zelda is the puzzles.
Okay.
I feel like it gotten too close to trying to be like Dark Souls in a way, which I'm a big Dark Souls fan too. But that Dark Souls didn't make my list. But I'm a big Dark Souls fan, and I felt like it did so much of it and then strayed onto its own path, which I respect. It's just that if it's gonna be something like that, I want, as something as hardcore as Dark Souls and stuff like that.
I see what you
That,
mean.
and I already have like this, I guess, internal image of Link in Zelda that I felt like the direction that they pushed their characters was a little weird for some reason. Maybe with the art style, and maybe that they actually gave them voices. That threw me off. Like, Zelda, for the first time ever, had voice lines. Like, before it was just, like, the little murmur of speech, but then it was just dialogue, like, written dialogue.
I guess I hadn't considered that's the first time she's actually had a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird. Or that any character had a voice, because normally in every Zelda game, like, no one actually talks. It's always just, like, the little, like... and then like the dialogue pops up. It's never actual voice lines, so that really kind of threw me off. So I respect it for being different, but it's not a Zelda for me.
That's fair.
A Zelda that is for me though is Wind Waker. That's a really good game.
100% on my list.
That absolutely made my list.
Yes.
No
Did
doubt.
not make my list, but I do respect it. I do respect it. You probably didn't play any of those Zeldas.
Nope.
Yes. Majora's Mask was also pretty fun for me too.
Never played Majora's Mask. That's the one main Zelda series. I guess that and Skyward Sword, but a lot of people didn't like Skyward Sword. But
yeah,
I think Majora's is like the main line that most people like that I haven't played.
Mm-hmm. I have not played Skyward Sword either. Ben, have you played Skyward Sword?
No.
Yeah. So it's weird because like I think it got such a bad rep, and like I think I started watching Game Grumps play through it, and I was like, "Holy crap! I didn't know it was this bad." Which I think that kind of woke Nintendo up just a little bit. I did like Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get through Twilight Princess.
No, is it you didn't enjoy it enough, or you just didn't?
Yeah, and I wasn't fully understanding all of the controls that went along with it because it was for the Wii, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was for the Wii and the GameCube because that was like during the crossover moment when they started going into new areas. Was there any other 64 games?
I think I had 3 on my list.
Yeah, I had 3. I'm good.
One of mine was Donkey Kong 64, and I know
Oh my god.
most people's Donkey Kong game is Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Never played any of those. The one Donkey Kong game I had was 64, and it was more of a overworld, like full movement as opposed to a side scroller.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back objectively, it's not the best game anymore. But I had just so many memories playing through that over and over and over again. I kept resetting the game because I always got to one level and could never beat the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
I would just try like 10 times and say screw it, and then go back and just reset the whole game again. Because like I don't want to just keep fighting this boss. I want to actually play the game.
It really is like that. It's just whenever you hit that brick wall.
It's like what do? I can't. I only had a walkthrough, and the walkthrough wasn't helping me.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I went through, and I'm ashamed I didn't put it on my list.
Yeah.
I just remember having to go on a game FAQs multiple times for different games when we were younger.
Right. And that
Get that walkthrough.
Mm-hmm. That, and he actually had like some of the places, some of the games, like another game I'm going to mention later. Like you need like the actual paper walkthrough because like it's an actual freaking book
Oh wow.
that you need. Were there any other 64 games?
My
64s.
Another one I had was Kirby and the Crystal Shards.
I never played any.
I
of
think
their
that
games.
game actually holds up really well.
Yeah.
And a lot of memories with that one too. I don't know if this is the first one to do it since I hadn't played any other Kirby games, but I really liked the power combinations. Like you could inhale like a fire dude and gain a fire elemental type, and that did something.
Right.
But then you could throw that fire elemental type, like pick it up like an actual item, throw it into a different, like if someone had a spike power, you could throw the fire into the spike dude and create a fire spike elemental
Yeah, you
combination.
could like fuse them.
You could fuse powers.
It's like recipes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Gotcha.
like that. So you could make so many different type combinations. So I think there was like 7 or 8 elemental types.
Can you like technically combine everything together?
No, you can only combine 2. But you could also combine the same type, so you could do double fire and it would be something. It would be different from single fire.
It's pretty cool. I like games that think outside the box.
I just remember spending hours and hours messing around with that, just like all the different powers that I could get.
I guess I'll take the time just to mention other 64 games that were really good that didn't make the list, and that was Banjo-Kazooie.
That's on my list.
Oh, it's on your list?
Yeah, my bad, man.
Man, so Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is awesome. It was just goofy, and also like the maps, like the places that you go, the areas are awesome, and I kind of dig the soundtrack, like a lot. You actually hear the Banjo-Kazooie soundtrack so much on YouTube, like as filler, that people don't even realize that's Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, really?
Like the do 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 do.
Oh wow.
That's Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like the little like sneaking around stuff that people do. That's all Banjo-Kazooie.
I don't know. I might be the only one who's done this, but I played Banjo-Tooie, and I never played Banjo-Kazooie, which I've heard that Kazooie is like the completely superior game in comparison to Banjo-Tooie.
Well, it's the original versus a sequel thing.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben? Did you play Banjo-Tooie? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I played both, and honestly, I like them both a lot. I got further in Banjo-Tooie every time when I played it, so I guess I could say I prefer that one. But I do really, really know both.
Okay.
Let's see here. Other 64 games.
There was Rayman Unleashed.
Raymond Legends.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's where the Rayman Rabbits came from, but I can't even think about it. It's literally this torso without a neck, arms, or legs, but it has feet, hands, and a head. And he just goes around and he's just a nutball. But he gets captured or something like that.
Right.
I remember playing that for a long time. I can't even remember where I found that game, but it was a good game. It was interesting.
Right.
You got to like throw your hands out. It was like,
I can imagine like the game design originally, because they're all like, what do we do for his body? Like he's gonna be like a spring or something like that. It's like, oh well, for right now let's just do the hands and the feet, and we'll just do that. And like, okay, I want to just keep it like this. It's like, what do you mean, no body? Who needs a body?
Yeah, we're Nintendo. We can just make it happen.
Yeah. I didn't realize that's a Nintendo game.
Yeah. It was from Capcom?
Capcom?
Capcom, okay.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And then
it was before Ubisoft picked them up.
Oh, okay. Then I have one more game from the N64.
Okay.
And that's the OG Paper Mario.
Oh, nice. I respect that.
That way too many hours. I mean, not way too many, but a lot of hours spent on that. And the 1,000-Year Door is really good, but Paper Mario is arguably just as good, and there can be a whole debate as to which one's better. So they both have really pros and cons, but they're both really solid games. And I just have way too many memories of Paper Mario.
Maybe that'll be your Let's Play.
Possibly.
Maybe. Which, for those who don't know, we have a YouTube as well, and we also post our Let's Plays on there. So currently we have a Luigi's Mansion Let's Play.
Very well done.
And I am going to be posting a quick Monopoly Let's Play, which is just going to be a couple episodes. Ben is working on... He might get his Sims up, and then he's also playing through...
Daddy.
Yeah, Dream Daddy with his fiancée, Bae. Which I'm sure he's excited about.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I didn't know what we were really getting into when we played it, but it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's like the thing is you don't really understand. It's one thing to play through these single player games like on your own, but then to have like that extra person with you to help manipulate your decisions, or maybe just to try something that you haven't done. Like, you know, I would just tell, like, when we were doing Luigi's Mansion stuff, like, normally he would just walk past by some stuff, but then I'll be like, hey, check out that candle. And then he'll, like, suck up the candle or something like that. I'm like, yeah, we did something today.
Morris.
Oh, is Morris back? Hey!
Hey, Morris.
Morris says Blast Corps. I don't know Blast Corps.
I don't know that
No.
either.
That sounds like some OG shit. But right now we were just talking about some. Oh, maybe I do know Blast Corps. Now that I think about it, let me go look it up on my phone. But we were talking about the 64s. Was there any? You mentioned the last 64 game, which was Paper Mario.
Yes.
Is there any others, or maybe were there any other N64 games that you felt? Oh, GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Yeah, I never really played GoldenEye.
Really?
So, yeah.
That had a really good story mode. You really felt like a spy with all the gadgets and stuff. And also you get to like shoot stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, be all sneaky.
And Morris, always glad to have you back.
Yeah.
He says yo, by the way. So.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to see you on here. I like reoccurring viewers.
If y'all can see my screen share, I have the Blast Corps pulled up.
Ah.
I have played this. I remember going to a friend's house and playing that. That was actually a lot of fun. Oh, I think this was on this N6. When you're the monsters, Rampage.
Rampage?
See, I never played Rampage.
Okay.
I don't think I got to.
Rampage is cool because basically you can choose between like one of three monsters, which is basically one that looks like Godzilla, one that looks like a giant like werewolf, and then another one that's like a ape.
Okay.
But realistically, it's like when they're normal size, they're like a chimp, a lizard, and a rat.
Oh.
Right. But they get full size, and it's a multiplayer game too, so you can have multiple monsters in the same thing. And basically, in order to get through a level, is you need to destroy everything. So you need to destroy buildings. You need to you're pulling people out of buildings like that, like random people. There's also like SWAT and military people that show up, and they're like shooting you from both inside the building, from helicopters, from tanks that roll up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're fighting all this stuff, and you're just trying to destroy like a city before you die, because like a race against time in a way.
Okay.
So that game was pretty fun too. I'm trying to think if there's any other 64 games.
There was one that I had. It was such a bad game, but I played it way too much. It was because I was a big Power Rangers fan. So there was Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue was a Nintendo 64 game. It was bad because literally the Power Rangers shot like things out of their hands. Like they threw blasts and stuff out of their hands.
Kind of like a Dragon Ball Z thing.
Yeah, it was but it was like you were looking above them. So it was like a sky camera, and you were like controlling them, and they were going through these maps and stuff. But it was so weird because you were one ranger per level. Mm-hmm. The coolest thing about that was that you had the Megazord battles.
Right.
So you could control a Zord, and you can fight against the giant people, and it was multiplayer and all that other stuff. So that was pretty cool.